Ever wondered what happened to your favorite child stars? From tragic accidents to heartbreaking suicides, here are 20 child actors who died too young. Number 20. Matthew Garber. Garber was a British child actor best known for his role as Michael Banks in the 1964 Disney film Mary Poppins. Though his acting career was brief, his performance in this iconic movie was enough to leave a lasting impression on audiences. That wasn't his first movie, though. Matthew Garber began his acting career in 1963 with the Disney film The 3 Lives of Thomasina, where he played the character Geordie McNabb, so this was the beginning of his association with Disney. By the following year, he landed a role in Mary Poppins in 1964. His role as Michael Banks, one of the 2 children cared for by Mary Poppins, the magical nanny, gained him widespread recognition. His performance in this film remains his most notable work, and it solidified his place in cinema history. Technically, that was not his last role. After Mary Poppins, Garber appeared in one more Disney film titled The Gnome-Mobile in 1967. In this film, he once again shared the screen with Mary Poppins co-star Karen Datrice. Sadly, this was his last film. After The Gnome-Mobile, Matthew Garber stepped away from acting. He decided to go to school and lead a relatively private life. Even more sad, Matthew Garber's life was tragically cut short. By 1976, at the age of 21, he contracted hepatitis while traveling in India. Though the exact circumstances have been unclear, it is believed that the hepatitis was either caused by consuming contaminated food or water. Unfortunately, the illness progressed to pancreatitis. Garber was flown back to London, but he passed away on June 13, 1977. As you can imagine, his untimely death shocked the fans who loved him just as much as it did for those who knew him. Following his death, Garber's brother Fergus went on to speak about him. He described him as adventurous and as someone who loved traveling. Sadly, it ultimately led to his illness. Despite his short life and brief career, Garber is remembered fondly by fans of Mary Poppins and by those who grew up watching his films. In recognition of his contributions to film, Matthew Garber was posthumously named a Disney legend in 2004, alongside his Mary Poppins co-stars, Julie Andrews and Dick Van Dyke. Next, a story that serves as a cautionary tale about the perils faced by child stars in Hollywood. As you are about to see, the industry has a tendency to exploit and discard young talent once they have outlived their perceived commercial usefulness.
Where is that villain, Captain Hook? I'll slice him up and throw him to that crocodile.
I guess Bobby Driscoll.
Number 19. Bobby Driscoll. Bobby Driscoll became one of Disney's most prominent child stars in the 1940s and early 1950s. His performances in films like Song of the South, So Dear to My Heart, and Treasure Island earned him significant acclaim. Interestingly, Bobby Driscoll was discovered at the age of 5 when a barber introduced him to his neighbor. This neighbor just happened to be a casting director. His natural acting ability quickly set him apart. He had expressive eyes and an endearing smile. He truly was a delight to watch. He made his screen debut in the 1943 film Lost Angel. This led to more roles, of course, because his talent and charisma were undeniable. Driscoll's role as Johnny in Disney's Song of the South truly catapulted him to fame. As his performance was praised for its emotional depth and charm, it earned him widespread recognition. Another significant role for Driscoll was as Jim Hawkins in Disney's 1950 film Treasure Island. In this film, Driscoll showcased his versatility and became an iconic figure in children's adventure films. Driscoll was adored by audiences for his wholesome, relatable, and heartwarming performances, and his ability to convey a wide range of emotions endeared him to both children and adults. Let's not forget that Driscoll was the ultimate Disney icon. As one of Disney's first contract players, Driscoll became synonymous with the brand's image of innocence and adventure. Sadly, this success came at the cost of a normal childhood. Driscoll faced intense work schedules that left little time for a normal childhood. The demands of continuous filming and promotional activities were exhaustive, impacting his education and social development. But the worst was yet to come. As Driscoll grew older, he faced the common issue of typecasting. The onset of puberty brought physical changes and a change in the tone of his voice. This greatly affected his screen image and led to a contract termination with Disney. Hollywood struggled to transition him from a child star to an adolescent or adult actor. Hollywood's reluctance to see him in mature roles limited his opportunities. The industry's preference for a particular look and type for child actors meant that as he aged, he no longer fit the roles that made him famous. The abrupt end of his Disney contract in 1953 was a significant blow. This abandonment left Driscoll without the support and guidance he needed during a crucial period of his career and personal development. Later on, Driscoll's life was marred by legal troubles, including arrests related to his drug use. There were also financial difficulties, and he became increasingly marginalized by the industry that once celebrated him. Naturally, the abrupt end to his career contributed to his descent into substance abuse. To make this worse, he faced significant social alienation. This dramatic shift from being a beloved child star to being virtually unemployable was devastating. His attempts to revive his career were largely unsuccessful, and they led to further isolation and more despair. So much despair that his life ended tragically. In 1968, he was found dead in an abandoned New York City tenement at the age of 31. His death was attributed to heart failure caused by his drug use. It was evident that he had been living in squalor. It was so bad that his body went unidentified for some time. Driscoll's tragic early death in 1968, largely forgotten and destitute, highlighted the stark contrast between his early success and later life.
Very fighting word, partner. Look how I from.
Number 18, Carl Switzer. Carl Alfalfa Switzer was an American actor best known for his role as Alfalfa in the comedy short titled Our Gang. His distinctive appearance and comedic antics made him one of the most recognizable child actors of his time. Sadly, his acting career waned over time, and his life took a tragic turn. But before any of that, Carl Switzer began his acting career in 1935 at the age of 7. He was cast as Alfalfa in the Our Gang series of short films produced by Hal Roach Studios. His character, Alfalfa, became a fan favorite due to his unique cowlick hairstyle, off-key singing, and comedic misadventures. We can't forget all the schemes revolving around his crush on Darla and rivalry with other boys in the gang. One could definitely say that Switzer's portrayal of Alfalfa was central to the success of Our Gang. Unfortunately, he was so good at being Alfalfa that it led to his typecasting and eventual decline. Ironic, isn't it? Sure, Switzer gained fame as Alfalfa, but his association with the character made it difficult for him to transition to more serious acting roles as he got older. After leaving Our Gang in 1940, he struggled to find significant acting opportunities. Switzer appeared in a handful of films in minor or uncredited roles, such as It's a Wonderful Life in 1946, and even a smaller role in the 1953 John Wayne film Island in the Sky. As his acting career waned, Switzer pursued various menial jobs, including working as a dog breeder, hunting guide, and bartender. Despite his early fame, his adult life was marked by financial difficulties and personal struggles. Carl Switzer's life came to a tragic and violent end on January 21, 1959, when he was shot and killed at the age of 31. This incident occurred during a confrontation over money. Switzer had allegedly borrowed $50 from a man named Moses Bud Stilts, and during an argument at Stilts' home over repayment, the situation escalated. According to reports, Switzer threatened Stilts with a knife, leading Switzer to shoot him in self-defense. Switzer was pronounced dead shortly after arriving at the hospital. The circumstances surrounding Switzer's death were controversial. The case was initially ruled as justifiable homicide, but over the years, some have questioned whether the shooting was truly in self-defense or if there was more to the story. However, no further legal action was taken. Up next, a career that was defined by resilience and talent in the face of adversity. Number 17, Dana Hill. This American actress was best known for her roles in both live-action films, television, as well as voice acting in animated series. Sadly, she faced significant health challenges throughout her life. She was quite the all-rounder, though, and she managed to make a lasting impact in Hollywood before her untimely death. Born Dana Lynn Gates on May 6, 1964, she was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes at a young age. It stunted her growth and also limited her physical development. As a result of this, she had to portray characters much younger than her actual age. Despite her health issues, Hill was determined to pursue acting, and her youthful appearance helped her land roles that would otherwise have gone to younger performers. Hill began her acting career in television during the late 1970s and 1980s. One of her most notable early roles was in the critically acclaimed television movie The Two of Us in 1981. That same year, she appeared in the ABC after-school special titled The Body Human Facts for Girls, where she played a young girl learning about her diabetes. Hill's breakthrough film came in 1983 when she starred in Shoot the Moon alongside Diane Keaton and Albert Finney. These were all outstanding roles, but she is perhaps best remembered for her role as Audrey Griswold in the 1985 comedy film National Lampoon's European Vacation. In addition to her on-screen roles, Hill found significant success as a voice actress. Her youthful-sounding voice allowed her to portray young characters in animated series like Goof Troop, DuckTales, Chip and Dale, Rescue Rangers, as well as Darkwing Duck. Sadly, behind the scenes, there were health struggles that took a toll on her throughout her life. Her diabetic condition led to complications, including diabetic coma and kidney failure. Tragically, on July 15, 1996, at the age of 32, Dana Hill passed away from complications related to her diabetes after suffering a massive stroke brought on by the disease.
Do you see them?
Do you?
Number 16, Heather O'Rourke. Although she had a very short time in the industry, Heather O'Rourke certainly left her mark in the world of entertainment. Particularly, her role as Carol Ann Freeling in the Poltergeist film trilogy left a significant cultural impact in the industry. Heather O'Rourke was discovered by director Steven Spielberg when she was just 5 years old. Spielberg noticed her while she was having lunch with her mother at the MGM commissary. After a brief screen test, O'Rourke was cast as Carol Ann Freeling in Spielberg's 1982 horror classic Poltergeist. O'Rourke's performance in Poltergeist was nothing short of iconic. Who can forget how she delivered the line, "They're here"? It has since become a hallmark of the horror genre. The film's success made her a recognizable child star almost overnight. After the success of the first Poltergeist film, O'Rourke reprised her role in the sequels Poltergeist 2, The Other Side in 1986, and Poltergeist 3 in 1988. Though the sequels did not achieve the critical acclaim of the original, O'Rourke's performance remained central to the storyline, and she continued to be seen as the face of the franchise. In addition to her work in Poltergeist, O'Rourke appeared in television roles during the early 1980s. She had guest roles on popular shows like Happy Days, Webster, the new Leave It to Beaver, and Chips. Her natural charm and talent made her a sought-after young actress in the industry. She might have gone on to do bigger things, but her life was tragically cut short on February 1, 1988. She died at the age of 12. Initially misdiagnosed with Crohn's disease, O'Rourke's real condition was congenital intestinal stenosis. This is basically the narrowing of the intestines that can lead to further complications. In January 1988, she became severely ill with flu-like symptoms and was taken to the hospital, where she suffered cardiac arrest. Emergency surgery revealed the intestinal obstruction, but she went into septic shock due to an undiagnosed infection and later passed away. Number 15, Rob Knox. Rob Knox is not a mainstream name, but this British actor gained widespread recognition for his role as Marcus Belby in the film Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince. His acting career was just kicking off, and it showed promising signs of success. However, it was tragically cut short when he was killed at a young age. Rob Knox began his acting career in the early 2000s with minor roles in British television series such as The Bill and After You've Gone. These were minor roles, but his big break came when he was cast in Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince in 2009. Despite having a small role in the film, his involvement in such a globally popular franchise like Harry Potter brought him significant attention and positioned him for a successfully potential career in the entertainment industry. Many believe that his role in the Harry Potter series could have been a stepping stone to more substantial opportunities in film and television. Unfortunately, he was the victim of an altercation that occurred shortly after Knox had completed filming for his role in Harry Potter. On May 24, 2008, Knox was fatally stabbed outside a bar in Sidcup, southeast London. He was reportedly trying to protect his younger brother from a man armed with 2 knives. Rob Knox's life was tragically cut short at the age of 18. By March 2009, the man responsible for Knox's death, Carl Bishop, was found guilty of murder and sentenced to life in prison with a maximum term of 20 years. Rob Knox's untimely death sent shockwaves through the entertainment industry, particularly among fans of the Harry Potter series. His death highlighted the issues of knife crime in the UK. In honor of his memory, the Rob Knox Foundation was established by his family to promote positive activities for young people and to raise awareness about the dangers of knife crime. The foundation also supports aspiring actors through the Rob Knox Film Festival, an annual event that celebrates young talent in the film industry. Number 14, Nikita Pearl Waligwa. Nikita Pearl Waligwa was a Ugandan actress who gained international recognition for her role in the Disney film Queen of Katwa. The 2016 Disney film Queen of Katwa was directed by Mira Nair. Interestingly, the film is based on the true story of Fiona Mutesi, a young girl from the slums of Katwa, Kampala, who rises to become a chess prodigy despite her impoverished background. We are certain Nikita Pearl couldn't have asked for a better acting debut. In the movie, Nikita played the role of Gloria, a close friend of Fiona and a fellow member of the chess team. Gloria's character is memorable for her warmth and humor, especially in scenes where she helps Fiona understand the game of chess. She explains it in simple terms and does so in the most heartwarming way. Naturally, Nikita's performance in Queen of Katwe was praised for its authenticity and charm. Although she was not the lead actress, her role contributed significantly to the film's heartwarming narrative. The movie received critical acclaim for its portrayal of life in Uganda and the inspiring story of perseverance, and it brought Nikita to the attention of audiences around the world. Nikita's life took a tragic turn when she was diagnosed with a brain tumor in 2016. The same year, Queen of Katwe was released. Her condition required surgery, and it was successfully performed in Uganda. However, the following year, the tumor returned, and her family sought further treatment in India. Despite undergoing treatment, Nikita's health continued to deteriorate. On February 15, 2020, she passed away at the age of 15 due to complications related to the brain tumor. Her death was a devastating loss, not only for her family and friends, but also for those who had been touched by her role as Queen of Katwe. Her life and career, though brief, certainly left a lasting impact on those who were privileged to meet her.
Myra?
Hello, Eddie. Can you believe what's happening? My little doodlebug floating out in space all by his lonesome.
Doodlebug?
Number 13, Michelle Thomas. Michelle Thomas was one face that rocked American television during the late 1980s and 1990s. She was beautiful, graceful, and hilarious, truly a sight for sore eyes. The actress and comedian was a vegetarian and reportedly never smoked or drank alcohol. Unfortunately, life does happen, and her life was cut short by a rare and unkind type of cancer. Michelle Thomas began her acting career in the mid-1980s, with her first major role being on the popular soap opera The Young and the Restless. There, she portrayed the character of Justine Phillips from 1988 to 1990. Michelle is best known for her role as Myra Monkhouse on the hit sitcom Family Matters. She joined the cast in 1993 as a love interest for the character Steve Urkel, played by Jaleel White. Myra Monkhouse quickly became a beloved character, known for her intelligence, beauty, and unwavering affection for Urkel. Thomas's portrayal of Myra was both comedic and heartfelt, adding depth to a character that could easily have been one-dimensional. Her chemistry with White and her ability to bring warmth and humor to the role made her a fan favorite, but tragedy came knocking in 1997. While still working on Family Matters, Michelle Thomas was diagnosed with a rare form of stomach cancer known as an intra-abdominal demoplastic small round cell tumor, DSRCT for short. This aggressive cancer typically affects young adults and is often difficult to treat. Despite her diagnosis, Thomas continued to work as much as her health allowed, showing immense strength and determination. Unfortunately, her health continued to decline, and in 1988, she left Family Matters to focus on her treatment. On December 23, 1998, Michelle Thomas passed away at the young age of 30, surrounded by her family and loved ones in New York City. We would like to think of Michelle Thomas as a bright star whose life and career were tragically cut short, but whose legacy lives on through her work. Her portrayal of strong, intelligent, and loving characters on television contributed to the representation of Black women in the media, and her work continues to be appreciated by audiences today. Number 12, Anissa Jones. Best known for her role as Buffy Davis on the hit television show Family Affair, Anissa Jones was your typical American child actress who showed promise of even bigger things. Anissa Jones was born on March 11, 1958 in West Lafayette, Indiana. Her family moved to California when she was a young child, and this was where her acting career began. At the age of 6, Jones auditioned for and won the role of Buffy Davis on Family Affair, a CBS sitcom that premiered in 1966. The show is centered around a wealthy bachelor who suddenly finds himself the guardian of his brother's orphaned children, Buffy, her twin brother Jody, and their older sister Sissy. Jones quickly became a household name thanks to her portrayal of Buffy. It also helped that the show was a major success, and Jones's performance was widely praised. Buffy Davis became a cultural icon of the 1960s, often appearing on lunchboxes, dolls, and other merchandise. Despite the fame and success that Family Affair brought her, Jones's acting career did not extend far beyond the show. When Family Affair was canceled in 1971 after 5 seasons, Jones was 13 years old and found herself struggling to transition out of the child star role. She had become so closely associated with Buffy that finding new roles proved difficult. Additionally, her family life was troubled. Her parents had a contentious divorce, and her mother, who managed her career, was reportedly strict and controlling. After the end of Family Affair, Jones attempted to return to normal life. She enrolled in high school and largely stepped away from acting. Unfortunately, this was around the time she became involved with a group of older friends who introduced her to drugs and alcohol. By the time she turned 18, she had received a substantial sum of money from her earnings on Family Affair, but this sudden financial independence only worsened her problems. Months later, on August 28, 1976, Anissa Jones died of a drug overdose in Oceanside, California. She was just 18, but she had a combination of drugs in her system, including cocaine, PCP, Quaaludes, and Seconal. Her death was ruled accidental, but it underscored the tragic fate of many former child stars who struggled with the pressures and pitfalls of early fame. Number 11. Sawyer Sweeten. Remember the popular television sitcom Everybody Loves Raymond? If you grew up watching that show, then you will remember Sawyer Sweeten. The bubbly and sweet Sawyer Sweeten was an American child actor best known for his role as Jeffrey Barone in Everybody Loves Raymond. Sawyer Sweeten was born on May 12, 1995 in Brownwood, Texas, alongside his identical twin brother Sullivan Sweeten. The twins, along with their older sister Madeline, entered the world of acting at a very young age. In fact, the twins were just 16 months old when they were cast as Jeffrey and Michael Barone. The show, which aired from 1996 to 2005, was a major success and became one of the most beloved sitcoms of the late 1990s and early 2000s. It centered around Ray Barone, a sports writer living in Long Island with his wife and children, as well as the intrusive parents who live across the street. Sawyer's portrayal of Jeffrey, the younger of the Barone twins, was charming and natural. He truly reflected the innocent and humor typical of a young child. The Sweeten twins, alongside their sister Madeline, grew up on the set of Everybody Loves Raymond. The show was a critical and commercial success, winning multiple Emmy Awards and earning a loyal fan base. Sawyer's role in the show was his most significant acting job. Like many child actors, he found it challenging to transition into more mature roles after the show ended in 2005. At this time, Sawyer Sweeten and his twin brother stepped away from the entertainment industry. The twins largely avoided the spotlight, choosing to lead relatively private lives. However, like many former child stars, Sawyer reportedly faced the most difficulties adapting to life after fame. On April 23, 2015, Sawyer Sweeten was 19 years old when he died by suicide. His death seemed to come out of nowhere, and it was a great shock to many. In the years following his death, his family and friends have spoken out about the importance of mental health awareness, particularly in the context of child actors.
What's wrong, Ty?
The plane wrestling one.
The one that Ellen and I danced to.
Number 10. Brittany Murphy. Brittany Murphy was a talented American actress and singer known for her versatility and effervescent personality. Murphy quickly rose to prominence in the late 1990s and early 2000s. Her career spanned film, television, and music. Brittany Murphy was born in Atlanta, Georgia, but she found herself in Los Angeles, where her mother decided she had what it took to be a star. From that tender age, she began to pursue acting. Murphy's first significant role came in 1991 when she was cast as Brenda Drexel in the television series Drexel's Class. This was followed by roles in other TV shows like Blossom and Sister Sister. Murphy's big break came in 1995 with her role as Tay Frazier in the iconic teen comedy Clueless. Playing the lovable but awkward new girl in school, Murphy's performance was both endearing and memorable, making her a standout in the film. It also helped that Clueless was a major success, so she was finally cementing her place in Hollywood as a rising star. Following the success of Clueless, Murphy transitioned to more varied roles in both independent films and mainstream Hollywood productions. She showcased her range as an actress in films like Girl Interrupted in 1999 and Just Married opposite Ashton Kutcher in 2001. The film was a box office hit, and her chemistry with Kutcher, both on and off screen, garnered significant media attention. Other notable films during this period included 8 Mile in 2002 and Uptown Girls in 2003. Murphy was booked and busy. But by December 2009, the world would suddenly hear very unfortunate news. It was reported that Brittany Murphy had died suddenly at her home in Los Angeles. She was just 32. The Los Angeles County Coroner's Office initially reported that the cause of death was pneumonia, with secondary factors of iron deficiency anemia and multiple drug intoxication. The drugs found in her system were all legal and consistent with over-the-counter medications or prescription drugs.
I think that at that age that you are in high school, it's not an easy time no matter what you do, and I think that there's pros and cons to the football.
Number 9. Lee Thompson Young. Lee Thompson Young was a promising American actor, best known for his role as Jet Jackson in the Disney Channel series The Famous Jet Jackson. His career, which began at a young age, was marked by talent, hard work, and a series of noteworthy performances in both television and film. Born on February 1, 1984 in Columbia, South Carolina, Lee Thompson Young showed an early interest in acting. His career began in the early 1990s when he moved to New York City to pursue acting seriously. Young's first major role came in 1998 when he was cast as the lead in the Disney Channel series The Famous Jet Jackson. The show centered around a young television star, Jet Jackson, who returns to his hometown to live a more normal life while still continuing his acting career. The role made Young a household name among young audiences, and the series ran successfully until 2001. After The Famous Jet Jackson ended, Young sought to transition from child roles to more mature characters, a challenging shift for many young actors. But Young was something special. He made this transition smoothly and went on to handle a variety of roles that showcased his range and depth as an actor. One of his notable post-Disney roles was in the film Friday Night Lights in 2004. From there, he landed a recurring role on Smallville, where he portrayed cyborg Victor Stone. This role particularly introduced him to a broader audience and allowed him to delve into the superhero genre. In 2010, Young joined the cast of the TNT crime drama Rizzoli and Isles as Detective Barry Frost, the charming and tech-savvy partner of the titular character Jane Rizzoli. His role on the show was pivotal, and he became a fan favorite. On August 19, 2013, Lee Thompson Young was found dead in his Los Angeles apartment from a self-inflicted gunshot wound. His death came as a shock to his family, friends, and fans, as he had kept his struggles with depression a secret from everyone. Following his death, it was revealed that Young had been dealing with bipolar disorder and depression and had been receiving treatment.
Now, Arnold, the most important thing about acting is to be able to project yourself into another character. Method acting can help you do that.
Oh, really? How does it work?
Well, one way is to pretend you're...
Number 8. Dana Plato. Best known for her role as Kimberly Drummond on the popular television sitcom Different Strokes, Dana Plato had a successful run on television in the late 70s and well into the 80s. Sadly, her story presents yet another cautionary tale about the pitfalls of early fame and the difficulties of transitioning from child stardom to a stable adult career. Dana Plato was born on November 7, 1964 in Maywood, California. She began her acting career as a child by appearing in commercials and small roles in television shows and movies. With a bit of luck, she got her big break as Kimberly Drummond on the NBC sitcom Different Strokes. The show was an instant hit, and Plato became a household name alongside co-stars Gary Coleman and Todd Bridges. Her role on the show endeared her to audiences. Different Strokes was notable for addressing social issues, and Plato's character often played a part in the show's more serious storylines. Like many child actors, Plato faced significant challenges in transitioning to adult roles after her time on Different Strokes ended. The image she had cultivated as the wholesome girl-next-door character made it difficult for her to be taken seriously in more mature roles. Hence, the show's cancellation in 1986 marked the beginning of a tumultuous period in her life. Plato attempted to reinvent herself by taking on more adult roles, but those efforts did little to revitalize her career. Plato's personal life was marked by a series of unfortunate events and poor decisions that compounded her professional struggles. In the years that followed, Plato battled substance abuse issues, including addiction to drugs and alcohol. She was arrested multiple times, most notably for robbing a video store in 1991. In late 1999, Plato made a few attempts at a comeback. She even appeared on The Howard Stern Show, where she candidly discussed her struggles. The interview was controversial, with Plato insisting that she was finally sober. Tragically, just days after her appearance on the show, Dana Plato died on May 8, 1999. Though it was first ruled as an accidental overdose, it was later confirmed to be a suicide by drug overdose, specifically a lethal combination of the painkiller Lortab and the muscle relaxant Soma. She was 34 years old.
He put a gun in his mouth and he blew the back of his head out.
So you did see Jerome Clifford alive?
Yeah.
Why'd you lie to the police?
I don't know.
Number 7. Brad Renfro. Brad Renfro gained early fame as a child star in the 1990s. He had a promising career that undeniably showcased his raw talent and potential. Born on July 25, 1982, Renfro was discovered at the age of 10. A casting director had been searching for a young boy to play the lead role in the film adaptation of John Grisham's legal thriller, The Client. When he saw Renfro, he knew he had his star. Renfro, who had no prior acting experience, was cast as Mark Sway, a young boy who becomes entangled in a legal battle after witnessing a lawyer's suicide. Renfro's performance in The Client was widely praised. He held his own alongside established actors like Susan Sarandon and Tommy Lee Jones, earning acclaim for his natural screen presence and emotional depth. The film was a commercial success and established Renfro as one of Hollywood's most promising young actors. Following the success of The Client, Renfro quickly became one of the most sought-after child actors in Hollywood. He starred in a series of films throughout the 1990s, including Tom and Huck, Huckleberry Finn, The Cure, and a couple more. Despite his early success, Renfro's personal life began to unravel in his teenage years. By the late 1990s, he was struggling with substance abuse, which began to affect his career. In time, his legal troubles and battles with addiction led to a decline in his work opportunities. Brad Renfro's life came to a tragic end on January 15, 2008, when he was found dead in his Los Angeles apartment. The cause of death was later determined to be an accidental heroin overdose. Renfro was just 25 years old at the time of his death.
Now you run on home to your mother and tell her everything's all right. And there aren't any more guns in the valley.
Shay.
Number 6. Brandon DeWilde. Brandon DeWilde was an American actor who gained fame as a child star in the 1950s and 1960s. His early success on stage and screen established him as one of the most promising young actors of his generation. But considering he made this list, you already know it didn't pan out that way. Sadly, he left behind a legacy defined by a few iconic roles and the unrealized potential of a career that ended too soon. Brandon DeWilde was born in Brooklyn, New York, so he was very easily introduced to the world of acting at a young age. He made his Broadway debut at the age of 7 in the play titled The Member of the Wedding. The film version further solidified DeWilde's reputation as a gifted childhood actor. And this wasn't even his most famous role. His breakout role came in 1953 when he was cast as Joey Starrett in the classic western Shane. Following the success of Shane, DeWilde continued to work steadily in Hollywood. Although he continued to work in film and television, the roles he was offered were less prominent than those he had as a child. DeWilde's career in the late 1960s was marked by a shift toward roles in lower-budget films like All Fall Down in 1962 and The Deserter in 1971. Brandon DeWilde's life came to a sudden and tragic end on July 6, 1972. He was involved in a car accident in Denver, Colorado. He was driving a camper van when it veered off the road and struck a parked truck. DeWilde was trapped in the wreckage and died later that evening from his injuries. He was only 30 years old. His passing was a loss not only to those who knew and loved him, but also to the world of cinema, where he had made a lasting impact as a child actor. He was still young, and his dedication to keep acting might have paid off and revived his career. If you made it this far, do hit the subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss any updates from us. Now let's move on to the very first child to land a Disney contract.
It's okay, I want to.
Number 5. River Phoenix. American actor and musician River Phoenix was a young, talented, and dashing star who died of a drug overdose in October 1993. Born on August 23, 1970, in Madras, Oregon, River was the eldest of 5 children in a family that led a somewhat unconventional lifestyle. His parents were missionaries in a religious group known as the Children of God. Because of this, River and his siblings were encouraged to pursue artistic endeavors from a young age, and they often performed as street musicians to support the family. Phoenix's early exposure to performance and his natural charisma led him to acting. He began his career in television, appearing in commercials and guest starring in shows such as Family Ties. His work on television soon attracted more attention, and it wasn't long before Hollywood took notice of his talent. Perhaps it was the pressures of fame or just peer pressure, but somehow River went down the wrong path. He eventually died at the age of 23 of a drug overdose. While some sources claim he was only an occasional user, his ex-girlfriend, Martha Plimpton, had a different view. She stated that River's drug use had negatively impacted their relationship. According to sources, River had just spent several days on a drug binge with a band member, consuming both cocaine and heroin and going without sleep for days. On the day before his death, River went to the Viper Room with his entourage. Robert Forrest recalls River tapping him on the shoulder during the performance, saying he didn't feel well and thought he had overdosed. Forrest dismissed it as an exaggeration. A short time later, a commotion broke out in the club when he started convulsing. When the ambulance arrived, Phoenix was still alive, and a band member went with him to the medical center. Sadly, attempts to revive River at the hospital were unsuccessful.
People are going to come around if you keep shouting. It's really important if people come around.
Who's going to come around? Simon?
Number 4. Anton Yelchin. Odd Thomas star Anton Yelchin was born on March 11, 1989, to a family of figure skaters in Leningrad, now St. Petersburg, Russia. His parents, Irina and Viktor Yelchin, were well-known Soviet athletes, but they immigrated to the United States when Anton was just 6 months old to escape anti-Semitic persecution. Growing up in Los Angeles, Yelchin developed an interest in acting at a young age and began taking acting classes as a child. Yelchin's career began early, with his first role at the age of 9 in the independent film A Man Is Mostly Water in the year 2000. Yelchin's breakthrough role came in 2001 when he starred in Hearts in Atlantis, an adaptation of Stephen King's novel. At just 12 years old, Yelchin played the lead role of Bobby Garfield, a young boy who befriends a mysterious stranger. The film received mixed reviews, but Yelchin's performance was widely praised, marking him as a young actor to watch. As Yelchin transitioned into adulthood, he sought out diverse and challenging roles that demonstrated his versatility. His mainstream breakthrough came in 2009 when he was cast as Pavel Chekhov in J.J. Abrams' reboot of Star Trek. On June 19, 2016, Anton Yelchin died in a tragic accident at his home in Studio City, Los Angeles. He was found pinned beneath his Jeep Grand Cherokee and a brick pillar at the end of his driveway. He was only 27 years old. The accident was caused by the vehicle rolling backward, a known issue with the model's gear shift design. It was a tragic accident and it dealt a significant loss to the film industry. Number 3. Jonathan Brandis. Jonathan Brandis was born on April 13, 1976, in Danbury, Connecticut. He began his career in the entertainment industry at a very young age, starting as a child model at the age of 4. By the time he was 6, he had already landed a role on the soap opera One Life to Live. This role opened him up to his big break when he starred in the 1990 Stephen King miniseries titled It. As Brandis transitioned from his teenage years into adulthood, he faced the common challenge of many child actors. The decline in his career took a toll on Brandis both professionally and personally. Even as an adult, Brandis still had it hard. On November 12, 2003, at the age of 27, Jonathan Brandis was found hanging in the hallway of his Los Angeles apartment by friends.
Hello, I'm Luke, and you are?
Way too old for you.
Number 2. Cameron Boyce. Cameron Boyce was a rising star in Hollywood, best known for his roles in popular Disney Channel projects like Jessie and Descendants. His untimely death at the age of 20 sent shockwaves throughout the entire entertainment industry. Cameron Boyce was born on May 28, 1999 in Los Angeles, California. Though it wasn't his first acting stint, Boyce only gained widespread recognition when he joined the cast of Disney Channel's hit series Jessie, which premiered in 2011. He played the role of Luke Ross, and the show became a major success, running for 4 seasons until 2015. Following the success of Jessie, Cameron Boyce's star continued to rise as he was cast as Carlos, the son of Cruella de Vil, in Disney Channel's highly successful Descendants franchise. Beyond his work as an actor, Cameron Boyce was deeply committed to philanthropy. He used his platform to support various charitable causes, including advocating for clean water initiatives, ending gun violence, and helping those affected by homelessness. On July 6, 2019, Cameron Boyce passed away in his sleep due to a seizure that was related to an ongoing medical condition later identified as epilepsy. Cameron Boyce's death was met with an outpouring of grief from fans, friends, and fellow actors. Tributes poured in from across the entertainment industry, highlighting not only his talent but also his kindness, humility, and commitment to helping others. Lastly, a talented young actress whose promising career and life were tragically cut short at the age of 10.
Daddy likes to tell stories. Mommy says he tells stories all the time.
Number 1. Judith Barcy. Judith Eva Barsi was born on June 6, 1978 in Los Angeles, California, to Hungarian immigrant parents, Josef and Maria Barsi. Her mother, Maria, had dreams of becoming an actress, but instead channeled her ambitions into her daughter. Judith showed early signs of talent, and by the age of 5, she had already begun her career in show business. Judith's big break came when she was cast in commercials, quickly becoming a sought-after child actress. Her small stature allowed her to play roles much younger than her actual age, which added to her appeal in Hollywood. Judith soon transitioned from commercials to television and film roles. Some of her most notable appearances included guest roles on popular television shows like Cheers, The Twilight Zone, and Growing Pains. Sadly, Judith's personal life was marred by tragedy. Her father, Josef Barsi, was an abusive and controlling figure. As Judith's career flourished, Josef became increasingly jealous and paranoid. He struggled with alcoholism and constantly made threats against his family. His abusive behavior escalated over time, and when Maria attempted to seek help, even reporting Josef's threats to authorities, her pleas for assistance were not taken seriously. On July 25, 1988, the unthinkable happened. Josef Barsi killed both Judith and Maria in their home before setting the house on fire and taking his own life. Judith was only 10 years old. So which of these would you consider the most tragic? Do share your thoughts in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit the like button. You also can't miss the next video on your screen.